Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another installment of the Husker Gutter call-in show, live, named by you, the fans, Pit Snipe, you in general. You've been showing up late, so you're probably not even here right now. So we're not going to give you that acknowledgement until you show up. And there's our names there. Justin Adams here, Brian Moore over there. Brian, how you doing today, man? You talk about you were smoking something all day.
Yeah, I was smoking a pork butt from about 10 a.m.
He is
about
here.
6 p.m.
There we go. That's 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
10 a.m. to about 6 p.m.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, so it's been a long day for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Bone Leg, Corn Fed, The Voice, College Football Rocks. That's what I'm talking about, sir. Ron T, first person, let's go. Pit Snipe, hello, and yeah, take that, Pit Snipe. That's what. See, now that you showed up early, you were able to catch me talking trash. So now you got to do that for the rest of eternity. So a few things to talk about here today. And then also, as always, we're going to drop this down in the comment section. If y'all want to call in, you do not need video, just need audio. So we don't have to look at you. It doesn't matter. But as long as you can talk to us, we will talk to you about anything I want to talk about. But let's go ahead and jump it off with the big decommitment. Do you want to go ahead and, kind of give your thoughts on that? And then I'm going to give mine.
Yeah. I really was confident coming out of CJ's visit that he'd stick with his commitment. I thought Nebraska certainly, from a rev share standpoint, was more than competitive enough to keep CJ. First school to really, first big time program to offer him. Hell, I think we were one of the first schools to offer him. He committed early. You hope that relationships went out. Obviously, you have that lure to stay closer to home, right? Florida's not terribly too far. Florida State's not terribly too far either. So you get to stay closer to home. You get to play in front of your family. It's a big thing for a guy to come halfway across the United States just to play some football, really, at the end of the day, because they don't really play school no more, right? So, I think months ago we were fairly confident he was leaving. He was never going to be a part of the class. And then that visit, things went great, and I was feeling real confident. And it's recruiting. That's all it is.
It is what it is sometimes. And, overall, you're feeling like on the decommitment was just that, right? Like, because kind of what I put out on Twitter, and it seems like people have an issue understanding like what I mean by this. Because we had the usual, when he decommitted, everybody was panicking. So I just said, stop sounding the alarm, guys. This happens. It always has happened. It always will. Staff's shown they have a plan that includes contingencies. Just relax. And it's not me trying to be like downplaying everything, right? But my thing about it is we talk about, this has always been something with recruiting that happens. This happens to every school. Every single year, the sky is not falling because he decommitted, after all of kind of the commitments like that we've gotten recently and been trending for and stuff like that. Like it's one player and he's very good, but that they have backup plans. They're prepared for these type of things. And how often is it that like recruiting rankings are just like, so everybody talks about they don't care about recruiting rankings and all this stuff, but then this happens and the sky's falling and holy crap, our recruiting department is screwed. I think the thing about it is you'd be like, oh crap, well that sucks. Not throwing too much emotion and overreacting to this, because then again, one breath people will say I'm not overreacting to recruiting and then lose their minds when stuff like this happens. So yeah, that was kind of my take on it, more so than just trying to like downplay everything,
Yeah, celebrate it when they commit, especially a guy of his stature. Obviously, composite 4-star guy, probably top 150, I believe, on every major recruiting service. Like, there's no denying his elite talent. But like you said, they always have a plan, right? They have Danny Odeman this weekend for an official visit right before he commits. And then what'd they do? They went out and got to Darius Hughes. He came in for an unofficial over the midweek. So like clearly, one, they knew this was kind of inevitable probably, and there's no reason to panic. The portal exists now for a reason. Like, just think of it right now. Our entire starting secondary or corners are all from the portal.
Yep.
Andrew Marshall, Bly Hill,
Zaire
Wright, and potentially Jameer Khan. He could be a slot corner for you.
Yep.
4 guys, all from the portal. I love recruiting. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is like something I love about football. But if we get 10 guys in this class, who cares? 20 from the portal, and they're all proven. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. So, too, if y'all want to go ahead and click that link there, give us your thoughts on the decommitment recruiting in general, or if you think the sky's falling, go ahead and click that link because we need y'all to call in, keep this show rocking and rolling. But for just this brief moment in time, let me go ahead and ask you, who do you think will be the first one in line to replace him? Do you think Danny Odom becomes that priority?
I think Nebraska this weekend is going to not let him leave without giving it hell for a commitment, because his announcement is scheduled for Monday. The dead period starts Sunday at, I think, 10 a.m. So his official visit will wrap up Saturday. They'll probably get him to the airport with a chauffeur, and then that'll be the last thing that they can talk about. They're going to go absolutely all out. And the fact that he even is making it to Nebraska for this visit after Oklahoma's push, because they were kind of trailing in the recruitment. That visit for them went great. They tried to make him leave with committing. He didn't. He goes on a visit to Penn State. I believe that's where he was, or Ohio State, actually. And he still made it to Nebraska. I've long said that if we get to this moment and we're still in it, then I feel good about Nebraska's chances. And right now, you're basically losing a 4-star and you're gaining another. Like, it evens itself out. They're both 6'2", 180. They're both tremendous corners from Florida. Exactly.
Yeah. So again, the sky's not falling. If it happened last second, there was no fallback plan. Okay, let's panic a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we got time. This is recruiting. We know this is going to happen now. It's going to happen again. That doesn't mean we got to question the recruiting every single time it happens. Oh, like we got to step it up. No, like trends are trends, right? The overall momentum of the recruiting compared to before Matt Rule was here is incredible. For anybody to say that we got to rethink our strategy, that is just the most asinine thing I've heard. So yeah.
It was a big risk when they reset that board and went more of a national approach, but it's because they're very picky. They have that option now because they have like 80% of the rosters in underclassmen, so they can be picky. So it'll be all right. Give it time.
It'll buff. We're going to give it till about 30 minutes in the show. If we don't get a call, we're going to call it at the 30-minute mark, just because we don't want this to turn into just a second live show, because that's not its intention. Okay. So we'll give y'all till about 30 minutes. Somebody to call in. So let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of talking about Luke Sorenson. You kind of broke him down a little bit. I had some of my notes here. My Wi-Fi wasn't working until about 10 minutes before the show started. And I've been lucky that it's been on this long, so we'll see if that continues. I had some film clips that I was going to pull up on here. However, I'm unable to get those to load right now. I didn't have time to get everything, but I have some notes that I took as well. So we're going to break him down just a little bit here. So, Brian, do you want to go ahead and give me your initial thoughts on Sorenson?
Yes. So if he does commit to Nebraska like we anticipate, we'll have that for you tomorrow with a little bit more recruiting nuggets in there. Not the in-depth film reviews you're used to, because I'm just not a big tight end film review guy. But as I was watching his film today, the dude is a finisher. He lays people out. He is violent with blocking. And that's what stood out more so than his route running or there's one play where he does a great job of breaking off a route because he realizes it's a zone coverage and he's kind of found that soft spot. The blocking on the perimeter is phenomenal. And that's what I like the most about him.
Yeah, I think everything you said. And then, where did my notes go here? Oh, this is what happens. I just had him up here. 1 second.
Technology.
You know what, Brian? Go ahead and pull up his his recruiting profile real quick on the screen while I look for these notes, because I got too many windows open.
Yep.
I just kind of panicked. I kind of panicked when my Wi-Fi got on. I was like, I got 10 minutes to get on. I opened everything.
I got some of his clips too for tomorrow's video.
If you want to pop a couple of them on there.
Just for the sake of giving a little sneak peek here,
Yeah.
You just want I'm going to do a couple blocking ones.
Yeah, that'll work.
And we'll go with the.
Oh, here we go. I found it.
Okay.
That didn't take long at all.
Ready for whenever.
All right. So kind of what I put down here, and I finally put all my notes together because they were all broken up before the show. But I put he's a big body tight end who is very fluid for his size, fluid in space, clean out of his breaks, knows how to use his body to create leverage and kind of win certain situations off the route, at the top of the route, etc. A natural at tracking the ball, naturally soft hands, doesn't let it come into his chest. He really gets up there and gets his hands out there, which is very important for a tight end, especially when you're trying to use that length to be able to go out and get that ball away from your body or be able to go up and, I forget who that was. Who's a 6'11" tight end? It was Austin Allen that did that catch where he was able to snatch it off the sideline. Yeah. So that was being able to go up and get that ball. Like that is very important in a tight end because you can win a lot of situations by being able to use that to their advantages because he's very good against smaller defenders as well. So really good in the red zone, good off the line, physical, really good blocker, finishes blocks, keeps his legs driving on the block. He can run any route. Like he is a pretty developed route tree for a tight end, but just aggressive as a blocker, keeps his feet driving and really enjoys kind of like doing the, what's the word? Yeah. Well, looks really good at like, kind of cleaning up, like enjoys that, like linemen like to do a lot of times. Like you got a lineman who enjoys going out there and celebrating after wins and stuff like that. Like, good overall football IQ, but just a guy that you look forward to seeing him develop and see how he does after that. But yeah, if you want to pull some of these up, let me go ahead. I'll kind of break them down on the fly too.
This was the one I loved when I was watching. So he's in line right here. We'll go full speed real quick with it.
just drives. Like he does not stop driving the person backwards. And when he gets it, you see, watch, run it slow. So he's waiting.
And then boom, he
sees him coming across. Now gets his, and the good thing about where he's got him, right, is he's got one hand under, one hand over, and he's going to get it right up into his shoulders and not be up in the middle of the bicep area, because that way, he can win. The other guy can win on a rip through or anything like that. So he really gets up under that shoulder pad and is able to kind of drive him off his spot and just kind of attacks the leverage from there. And then right here, he's just kind of big brothering him around. Right here, he's got all control, all leverage, because that guy's completely on his heels, and he's just kind of throwing him around.
He's a former wrestler too, so that definitely is going to help with a lot of hand movement or placement or
shout out Joseph.
There's Joseph.
Shout out Joseph there. Do you got another clip?
Is this the one I just pulled up?
Yeah, it's the same one.
It's the same one. Oopsies. Grab another one real quick. This one, he's in line again. Blows up that edge.
Awesome. Go back. Slow it down. All right. So he's going to double here. He's going to knock the hips. He attacks the hips, because when you're a guy who's smaller, the one way you're going to knock a taller guy or somebody who's you're not really going to be able to block out is all of the center of gravity's at the hips. So that's what he does. He kind of helps that guy by just coming over and cleaning that up by attacking his leverage while he was already on his heels from the other lineman there. And it's the quick go, keep going, let it play. So he gets into the hips there, drives him off his base, and then I kind of lose him in there. But
what I liked about it too was kind of watching his head here. He's always got his head up.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that block is finished,
his eyes already looking
head
up.
Pops to the second level, and just takes out 48. Now 48 probably isn't making a huge impact on this play, but
that's part of this blocking scheme. Yeah, what his job is there is he's just coming to like clean up that mess and then get his eyes on the second level, and whoever is kind of in that gap, that's going to be the guy that he has to block. So yeah, that's very good execution of kind of that play design and that style of blocking. So we got Bone Leg Cornfed hopping in here.
I'm going to remove these things real quick
Yep.
here.
I'm going to pop him in here.
Same there.
What's up, man?
Hey, not much. I understand everything you're saying there. I remember years ago when I played football in high school, my coach always said, when you're blocking, keep your feet moving. Because if you keep your feet moving when you're, like in a driving motion, there's no way the other person can get leverage on you. Okay. So that is also important. It's not just about position of the hands. It's also about driving with the feet. If you stop driving with your feet, then you've just limited yourself,
And the one way to think about it is like, think about if you're trying to push a car or like something that's heavy like that, you got to keep your feet moving, because why? Otherwise it's going to roll back your direction. It's kind of the weight of that and it trying to roll back your direction and you fighting against it. Like if you give up any of that leverage at all, then all of a sudden it's, you got to keep that momentum going. It's just the same thing as a person. That leg drive just keeps that force from being able to come back towards you and knock you back away from your center of gravity.
Yeah, but now then on the offensive side, they also taught us what's called high knee and not shiny, high knee. And what that means is you take your legs up, when you're running, to where your knee comes up so far to where if they try tackling you, that your knee would hit the tackler right here in the chin, because they're going to try to tackle you with the waist. And there's no way that they could do that, because your knee, would hit them in the chin.
It's going to drive them back. Yeah.
No,
that's what a lot of running backs, like you see a lot of like your Saquon Barkleys and stuff like that. That's what they do so well. Because they're able to really kind of, like, a lot of guys have to hit those, Derrick Henrys of the world. They have to hit those bigger guys, and they're going to go low. So yeah, they just basically pick they hit them with the strongest part of their body. Instead of them being able to go, get their hips and knock their hips offline, they're bringing the strongest part of their body, which is that leg drive through. And yeah, it's not fun when that happens.
Would like to see somebody try to hand tackle somebody that's doing that, or arm tackle. It'd be, it'd be pretty disastrous for the
pick six against Colorado.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did to Cody Hawkins.
And Dominican too,
he just ran his knee right through him. And then he just was flying.
He cut a side flip.
Well, and the difference with Sudo is he had athletic ability, and he was able to return 2 interceptions for touchdowns. Or maybe one was a safety. I don't remember. But one was against Colorado too. But still, that's the main difference there. And of course he was a beast, but he shoved everybody around. So I mean, that's look at how he was doing it. He would, he wasn't, he wouldn't stop his feet. He
also played soccer, so he played soccer growing up. That's why his footwork was so good. So he knew, like, he was really good at like being athletic for a bigger guy and being able to move his feet well for a bigger guy. So he's an outlier with that.
Yeah, and I have a question for you. I know this is only supposed to be about football, but what do you think the most improved Nebraska team will be this year, sports-wise?
Sports.
Yeah, which Nebraska sport will be the most improved this year, and why?
Football.
Yeah, I'd say football, because it's hard to argue wrestling can get much better than where they're at.
If we're going by national, like championships.
Yeah. Softball, they've got some big commits in softball too. They might be able to.
Ron, I was exaggerating. I was exaggerating a bit there.
It's 6'8", I think.
6'8", 6'9", some of that. Can you back up? Come back in. I'm echoing.
Yeah, you are echoing a little bit.
Yeah, it's this StreamYard, this thing we use. It's this, because it doesn't happen anywhere else whenever I'm using his
do
camera,
echo
Zoom or anything.
or not?
No, it's just I think it's some on Brian's end, but we don't know what it is because when he leaves
Yeah.
and comes back, it's okay.
And one last thing, and before I go, I asked this in the chat, but I'll just ask you directly. So when you see it, it ain't a big deal. Have you ever, Brian? Have you ever had smoked prime rib before?
I have not. I've heard it's a good alternate for pork butt, though.
Yeah, and so is brisket, and so is brisket.
I'm from Texas. I know brisket better than anybody.
Oh, you do? Good.
Oh yeah.
I
Texas is the state for brisket. Nobody can argue that.
Yeah.
I can't. I know it's good. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, gentlemen. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, appreciate you calling, brother. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Bone.
Yep.
I like when people come in and share some of their knowledge too, back when they played, because it's interesting to see some of those old school methods are phased out, but some of them will stand the test of time for a reason. Crap, daughter's on the phone with AC problems. Be right back. You got AC problems, Pit Snipe? What's going on over there, man? What's going on, Justin? What sport would be the most improved for Nebraska and why? So elaborate on your answer to this question a little bit more, because you had to back out and come back in. But
oh, yeah. Softball, I was thinking they've got Jordy Ball's back.
Yeah.
So, and they got a big commit from an Oklahoma transfer. And if they can get one really good pitcher to pair with Jordy, because I think the Oklahoma girl is a outfielder, that would be a dynamic team.
Yeah.
If you get somebody that can hit for power, man. I mean, Jordy Ball can too. She had 20 homers this year. So yeah, if they make a CWS, I'd say they would be the most improved, unless Nebraska gets to like a 10-win season for football.
Yeah, so my thing on it is this: it depends on like what we're considering most improved. Like, is it the team that makes the biggest jump and like how far they make it? Because like I feel like the Nebraska football team, if they get like one or two more wins, right? Two more wins compared to last season, and depending on how it goes, like that's considered like a huge jump because we're turning the corner finally, right?
Yeah.
And like we feel that. So like just in our minds, that's such a huge jump in terms of like our emotion. Or are we talking about like what team is going to make the biggest jump in terms of like, oh, this team did make the postseason, now they're going to make it in or going to make it further, that type of thing. So I think football will just be more of like an emotional like lift that I think.
And it doesn't have to be like a playoff type season. If you get to a really good bowl game, you're going into a bowl game top 15, top 20, going against a top 15, top 20 team, and you win the bowl game and you're at 9-10 wins, the emotional high will be so extreme. Because just imagine how we felt after that Boston College game. I mean, it was very minimal in terms of grand scheme, but man, it felt good to get over the hump.
And finish with a win.
Yeah.
Just that, like not going the off season with that negative. We lost Iowa. That crap. Speaking of, I got blocked by the Iowa football chief of staff and whatever his title is, because he said you're either with us or against us, and I just said calm down, Iran, and he blocked me. Because that's what they've been tweeting all week. Like they've been tweeting stuff like that. Like I was like, dang, that's what gets you blocked. So they got some real softies over there living in that world.
Sense. I mean, they do protect their logo with guns and cops.
Yeah, exactly. Joseph, what's up, man? What did I miss? The other day, you know what? I could recap you, but I'm not 100% sure. We just went over the CJ decommit. Who we think is going to replace him, a little bit over Luke Sorenson. And I wanted to pull this up as well. We can kind of discuss this. Just interesting little notes here from – I saw these kind of odds here. And it interested me for a very good reason. I think you'll like kind of what you see here.
So it's the new Vegas odds?
Yeah, hold on. But – it's the Vegas odds to go undefeated. And we're getting some pretty good love here.
That's
plus
crazy.
4,000. Yeah. So they got plus 400 for Ohio State, plus 440 for Oregon, 490 for Penn State, 1,100 for Michigan. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, that one's weird.
20. Yeah, because how do you have Ohio State plus 400 and then plus so close? Yeah, because that's a big looming loss there. 2,800 for Illinois and then plus 4,000 for us. Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe it's because we're avoiding Ohio State and avoiding. No, I think it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
To have us 3, 4, 6 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and we miss out on Ohio State. We miss out on Oregon. Of course, we get Penn State, Michigan, but we miss out on Illinois.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's why. I wonder if that's why. It's because we don't have Ohio State. We don't have Oregon.
What does that tell you? Because Nebraska plays Minnesota, and they're at plus 35,000. Does that tell you, like, obviously their odds are not great, but like, does it tell you their odds to being a bowl team are pretty poor too? Because plus 35,000 is next. I mean, that's zero chance.
Yeah, let me look at Minnesota's schedule and like see if like maybe they just got like a brutal, like, do they got Oregon and Ohio State? But I don't think so. If they do, somebody hates them. But let's see.
I mean, we play them at Minnesota. That'll be a tougher game.
So they got Buffalo at home, Northwestern State, Cal, Rutgers. They go to Ohio State, Purdue, us at Iowa. Oh yeah, they do. They do have Ohio State and Oregon, and they play both on the road.
Oh, geez.
I was like, that's the only way that they got that punished, on this, because I was like, they had to have played both. Huh?
Who do they play before us?
Purdue. Oh, but they go October 4th, they play at Ohio State. Then they got Purdue the next week, and then they got us. And then Iowa the week after, and then Michigan State, and then Oregon. That's a rough stretch, bro. Nebraska, you got Ohio State and Purdue. So then Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan State. It's like one kind of like Purdue and Michigan State, kind of almost not game off. I think Michigan State will be competitive with them, but Purdue kind of is. And it's just one little gap in between, and you got Oregon looming, like with 3 weeks left in the season too.
That's a brutal schedule.
Ooh, that's tough. Yeah, that's bad. So, and then Michigan State plus 2,300. They probably have to have a hard schedule too to be that low, because they're like, those two teams are ungodly.
I think Michigan State will be pretty decent. I mean, I don't think they're going to be like an 8.
Aiden Childs is a good quarterback, so I think they'll be decent. But did they got Ohio State and Oregon too? Let's see. They got Western Michigan, Boston College, Youngstown State, at USC, at Nebraska, UCLA, at Indiana, Michigan at home, at Minnesota, Penn State at home, Iowa. Yeah, they do have a tough schedule though. They got USC, Nebraska, UCLA, Indiana, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa. Yeah.
That's like a very hard stretch.
Yeah.
Basically from September 20th to best case scenario, October 25th. That's a grind for 5 straight weeks. And then going to Minnesota, you get 1 week off essentially. And then you're playing Penn State. MD.
It doesn't matter. It's what we talk about, because it's something people like to look at, people like to talk about. All right.
It's June 19th.
This isn't, we're not making it specifically for one person. So I don't like when people complain about, oh, I hate this. That's fine. Don't care. Anyways, we'll continue talking about it. There was another one that I wanted to look at as well. If you want to call in, change the subject, go ahead. Not my problem. There was a couple more that I wanted to look at too, because now these didn't match up with the Big Ten odds. The Big Ten odds, so they from fantasy, our FanDuel, Ohio State plus 190, Penn State plus 250, Oregon plus 290, Michigan plus 1,100, USC plus 24, Illinois plus 33, Iowa plus 36, Nebraska plus 3,700. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. So they got us 8th, feeling doing in there? Oh, we got somebody calling in. We got Chris. Sore feelings? No, I'm just telling you how I feel. That's how I am. All right, what's going on, Chris? How you doing today, man?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate it. I don't know if you guys know who exactly I am, but I'm with Iowa, the voice of college football.
Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah, so I gotta hop on. I just actually came from the Ohio State show. I'm making a little tour today because usually we do call-in shows at this time too, but we did ours yesterday. Conflict schedule reasons, but decided.
Let me get your thoughts on these odds I just had up real quick, because I saw these and I was kind of surprised about how high they had Nebraska here. So let me pull these back up. They had us at plus 4,000. I was surprised that they had us at plus 4,000. Maybe it's because we avoid Ohio State and Oregon, and we got Penn State, and they got Iowa at plus 6,500.
Okay.
But then I saw FanDuel has Iowa plus 3,700, and I think we're plus 3,800 to win the Big Ten. So
I like what FanDuel's doing, considering when we play Nebraska, even though it's always close, we win last second, we still win. So that big little gap, I think, if you want to say Nebraska has a better odds, I understand that.
But that's happened in the past a lot too when we play Iowa.
Yeah. I think the gap got to be way closer, at least. At least it's got to be real close. It's always close games.
But I think this right here is more so like, because we looked at Minnesota's schedule, because we're like, Minnesota's not the worst team in the Big Ten. So, and found out that they got to play at Ohio State and at Oregon. So this has a lot to do with kind of like schedules too as well. So, yeah. So like, I think it's maybe because we avoid Ohio State and Oregon. We got Penn State. We got Michigan, but we got Michigan at home. So I think that kind of schedule advantage is where it likes us with these.
Yeah.
So
I see this guy asking, who am I? I know you just said in the chat, and I know we saw, but yes, I'm Chris Maglia with the Iowa, the voice of college football. So I'm a colleague of these guys. This is my
what you got going on over there?
I want
to let people know. Yeah. Just kind of what when y'all do your shows and stuff like that.
We do Mondays are regular shows. Mondays at 6 p.m. Central Time is our regular shows. And our call-in shows are every Thursday at 6 o'clock. So if y'all want to hop in, besides today, I guess the schedule reasons we did it yesterday. So if y'all want to hop in, talk Nebraska and Iowa, I'm more than happy, because there's a rivalry. There was a girl from high school. I'm from the Chicago area who went to Nebraska, and there was a lot of smack talking, particularly from my side, because we beat them at a lot of sports.
Yeah.
I will say, looking at these odds, and I just talked about it with the guys at Ohio at the Voice of College Football.
Mm-hmm.
I think Penn State has a great chance of taking a natty, and a part of that has to do with their very easy schedule. Because besides Ohio State and Oregon, tomato, and I'm gonna throw Iowa in there too. Their opponents they're not tough.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I know that's kind of shady, y'all.
No. I didn't know you were going with that at first. I got you.
Yeah, but there was schedule. If you look at like Ohio State's and Oregon's and Michigan's and even Illinois, that's I feel like they had the easiest schedule of the 14 top teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Penn State will have a good enough team to maybe be able to win the Big Ten with their schedule or something like that. I just think once they get into the college football playoff, I don't know. I think Ohio State. I predicted Ohio State to win the national championship last year too. I picked them versus Notre Dame in the national championship, and like until I see like Penn State kind of take that hump offensively, get over that hump and realize that Aller has weapons, some weapons that he can consistently target and go to, then I'll kind of pick them to maybe take a run for a national championship. But I got to see that offense hum a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State's schedule is pretty cake.
Yeah.
Their toughest game is Texas, and then their toughest conference game is probably, other than Penn State, it's probably if Illinois can do what they did again this year, that'd probably be their next toughest game. I don't think Michigan. I don't think Michigan's got their number, but
Michigan always plays them tough, though.
Yeah, that's just
you got 3, maybe 4 tough games on the schedule. Everything else is pretty cake.
What's all the hype about Illinois about? Because I'm not gonna lie, I've not been paying attention to them.
They're
good. I see a lot, man.
Just a well-coached team, really good quarterback play. Yes, they are a fundamentally sound, very well coached team with a pretty good quarterback and actually some fairly decent talent, more than we've seen in recent years too. So, yeah, their defense it forces turnovers. So yeah, they're good. Sometimes inconsistent, but they're still good.
I think they have 17 starters back too.
17.
Yeah,
17 to 22 is a lot. It's a lot of starters. I want to ask about we had this moment last year. I'm a University of Iowa student. I work for the Day Iowa school newspaper, and I'm a sports journalist. So I cover football, and I went to a lot of these games. I was at the Ohio State game, and I was also at the Nebraska game where we won on the field goal. And in the post-game conference, our kicker, Drew Stevens, after he kicked the game-winning field goal, said a little comment. I can't remember exactly word for word what it was, but he called Dylan Raiola Mahomes Jr. And we all started laughing.
So did everybody else.
What are your guys' expectations of him going into the season? Yeah, he is Jr. like to a T.
Everybody calls him Mahomes Jr., but doesn't realize he wears 15 for Tim Tebow, had his hair cut like that before Mahomes was even a thing or had hair like that. So he's got pictures of him having that since 7th grade. And he talked about that too. And I think he just kind of played with it to kind of troll everybody. I think he was doing the pregame warm-up stuff like him, and because they train together in the off season. So there's a reason why their mannerisms are similar. They throw similarly because they both have Jeff Christensen as their quarterback coach. So yeah, I mean, it's really, but I think he's been trolling people the whole season. So like, I think people just fell into that trap, and so I just kind of let it go at this point.
He's the last person to give a shit what people think too.
He doesn't care at all. Yeah. And so I think Raiola is going to have a really good season this year because Dana Holgerson's the offensive coordinator now. A lot of people don't realize how much different the film looked, because I actually have the all 22 films for the games. So I don't think people understand just how bad it was under Satterfield. You know, if the fact that Matt Rule fired his best friend from play calling duties late in the season says something there, because that was a guy who was in his second season. He didn't let him finish it out before he realized we got an issue. Holgerson came in, the offense immediately started playing better, even against Iowa. You know, we won every single statistical category, except the score. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. However, coming off of the season, I'd rather come off the season being the team that played better in that game, because if we would have only had 180 yards like Iowa and had to break one play and rely on a couple turnovers from a team that normally beats themselves and just beating themselves again, I wouldn't have felt as good. So, the offense was humming. Just got to be able to put it in the end zone, connect on the deep ball a little bit more. But since his feet have calmed down because that offense keeps him in a better rhythm because it's designed to, I think next season he's going to be able to set his feet on those throws and make a lot more of them.
And you're going to have a lot better wide receiver play, a lot better offensive line play. Yeah, Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, Ja'Cory Barney, Cortez Mills, Isaiah Mosey. I mean, that's four dudes that all run sub 4.5, 4.44s that are all big, physical, except for Isaiah. He's more of like an agile guy. But there's just a lot more weapons offensively than we've seen at Nebraska since probably Bo Pelini era, where they had Amir and Kenny Bell and Quincy Enunwa and Austin Allen tight end at that time too. I can't remember.
No, he was after.
But there's just a lot of like substantially better talent than what we've had before. Now you just got to put it together.
I want to ask y'all a question, but I see this guy asking me a couple questions in the chat, so I'm going to just say this right here.
Yep.
Tell us about the only player that matters in Iowa City, our punter situation. That's funny. We got Reese Dakin. He is from the same punting academy in Australia that Torrey Taylor came from. So just keep that in mind. So he's pretty good himself. And then
can he kick with both feet?
Yeah.
Can he kick with both feet?
Can he kick with both feet? That's a great question. I've not seen him kick with both feet. I've not paid attention to his feet that much. But when I see the season roll around and I watch his feet enough, then I'm gonna come back on this channel and answer that question.
I mean, you got to watch the punters. The punter uses his foot, right? So you don't know a lot about punting if you ain't watching how he's punting.
That's true.
Nebraska just got a kicker from that same academy that kicks left and right footed, and he's like 6'3", 190.
Yeah. Kurt's last season. What you say, Chris?
I just talked about this on Ohio State channel too. That's a common. I guess everyone wants to know that because he's been here for 26, 27 years. I heard that he's not thinking about retirement. I heard that he has another couple of years in him at the very minimum. I think that I wouldn't be mad about that. I think the reason why, even though we don't have no national championships or playoff appearances, the reason why Iowa's always been so competitive is because of his ability to create such a welcoming environment with the team and his ability to keep guys to find diamonds in the rough, the 2 stars, the 3 stars, the guys aren't highly ranked or recruited, bring them in, keep them positive, and be adamant about wait their turn and take advantage of the moment, and they do. And a lot of them, especially on defense and tight end, they go to the league and really produce because they know how to put in that work behind the scenes. I think there's a common theme of that, and that's why we remain competitive. We don't have to go into the portal a bunch to get those guys and make us competitive. We develop from within. So I wouldn't be mad about that, but I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go to year 30 at the minimum.
I think that's a huge part of what's I've been Iowa's success is like he's run a tight knit ship there, right? And it's a lot of like buy in to what he, kind of preaches. And the only way you could do that is if you kind of have that kind of atmosphere, that culture. So like that's why Iowa typically doesn't beat themselves. They don't get penalized a lot, and they don't really deviate too much from like their style. Y'all can get down in the game, but you don't deviate from like what kind of wins you games. And that's kind of that grinded out style. So I think that's what Kirk brings. He just has so much of that old school mentality in him. It's kind of withstood the test of time. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, I will say we shot ourselves in the foot against Michigan State and UCLA. Those games were terrible last year.
I think last year was a little bit of a outlier in terms of like, I think y'all gave up more explosive plays than you usually do and kind of had a couple more of those moments than you usually do. So
yeah. What is there people?
No, I'm not I did get blocked. This joke right here. I did get blocked by y'all's.
Oh man!
I got blocked by y'all's chief of staff. I didn't mix it up. He was just like, "You're either with us or against us," and I said, "Calm down, Iran," and I got an insta block.
That's
right there.
Now the word Iran is sensitive right now.
Man, bro, I was like, bro, I can't even laugh at it.
Man, hey, and you gotta find humor. I don't know what the phrase is, but
they were it's just how Iran's like was tweeting on the on Twitter, just like all of that stuff, like that posturing and stuff like that. So I'm like, geez, man.
But, man, I want to ask y'all though, because I know Brian, you listed all the receivers that got to step up. Besides the quarterback, who is your guys' most anticipated offensive player? Who's your guys' best skill player?
Emmett Johnson. Unless we're talking about Dane Key, I would say our biggest weapon that we're most looking forward to is Emmett Johnson. If you're asking me for the best player, who's probably going to be drafted first, second round, it's going to be Dane Key, the receiver transfer we got from Kentucky. And he is a huge part of this offense and why it's going to be. We didn't have that guy last year. Jamal Banks was a big body guy who had the ability to go get, but like he's not Dane Key. So like, definitely Dane Key. Emmett Johnson's going to be a big name coming out of that backfield though.
The sleeper is going to be Heinrich Harburg. I think if they can figure out how they're going to use him at tight end. There's not many guys that are 6'5", 240 that run 24 miles. What was the speed? Like 24 miles an hour. I mean,
it's like 22, 23. Yeah. Rocco Spindler. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. It depends on how receiver heavy the draft is though. Like, honestly, you got years like I think it was this year where defensive backs didn't go to like pick 30, and that caused
that was insane.
Yeah, that caused what's his face to drop to the second round. Yeah,
Will Johnson,
and so was oh my god, I'm trying to blank on y'all's guy that was drafted last year for the Eagles,
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean. Like, how am I drawing a blank on him? He fell to this like the second round because like there was no DBs drafted until he picked 30. So if it's a wide receiver heavy draft, O-line heavy draft, but yeah, Rocco Spindler is going to be good.
I'll tell you this with that draft. So for the Daily Iowan, I volunteered to write his draft brief. So I had it pre-written, and all I had was the blank of the team and the pick he went. And a lot of us thought he was going to be picked by Green Bay because Green Bay really needed that defensive back, and he was just right there, Midwest kid, yellow, just yellow suits him. Then Green Bay skipped on him. I forgot who they went with. There was another team I'm blanking on.
I was hoping it'd be us because we ended up going with Kamari Lassiter.
Who was your team?
The Texans.
Texans. Okay.
We ended up drafting Kamari Lassiter soon after.
There was another team that it was Green Bay and another team that I was really surprised passed on Cooper DeJean. I believe that other team. Oh, it was not the Eagles. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. But there was two teams that passed him in the first round. I'm like, damn, that they're gonna feel that. So then when the Eagles drafted him and they drafted Quinyon Mitchell too, a lot of skepticism because he drafted back-to-back corners in with your first two picks. Turned out to be a really good thing, especially when you get Cooper DeJean. But we saw what he could do at Iowa. I mean, he's like not just his defense, but his punt returning. He's going to be Devin Hester like in the NFL. I guarantee you, he's going to be the best punt returner in the league. Maybe next year. He's a dog, man. But when you talk about draft slides, like him and Caleb Johnson this year too, because we had him best running back season in Iowa history, and one of the best running backs in Big Ten history. It was more of a situational thing. You look at the running back class, even without the two Penn State running backs that were ranked 5 and 6 in the draft class that decided to go back, Singleton and Allen. This is one of the best running back classes that the NFL has ever seen coming into the league. And besides Ashton Jeanty and Marion Hampton, like a couple of them slid, like Travion Henderson and Quishan Junkins from Ohio State. They slid a little bit.
You think it's better than the Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, like, and then who was the guy who went to guy from UCLA? Trying to remember his name. He went to the Seahawks. Trying to remember his name.
Not Kenneth Walker.
Chardonnay.
Yeah, I think this draft, I think that draft, Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs and Charbonnet is more star heavy, but I think this one had more depth. Considering a guy like Cam Skadabu, who was in the Heisman running and in my opinion should have been a top 5 running back drafted. The fact that he was ranked number 9 is outrageous to me. He's going to take over that running back spot in New York by the end of the season. He's going to. Do
you think it's because the style of running back he is like he's just kind of more so get between the tackles, grind it out type of back, and maybe won't be able to do as much of the other stuff as to why he fell? Because I think regardless he's going to be a stud just because of how he is, his personality. But do you think that might be why he's more that old school type of running back that already has a lot of hits on him?
It could be, but if you're looking at potential, there was a couple teams that could have taken him with low risk. And I thought the Bears should have been one of them. I'm a Bears fan. I mean, he's a 3-down skill back. He's a guy that could power back and power his way in the end zone, or he's a guy that could catch the ball downfield and go off a run. I just didn't understand why he was so low ranked. I mean, he should have been right up there with Caleb Johnson, and he wasn't. I don't understand. I can't name 5 other running backs better than him coming into this draft. I can't.
I think it's because he ran a 4.8 at the combine, probably.
Still, like football speed, bro. Like you see it out there and you see him play. They
get enamored with the most useless data at the combine. It drives me nuts.
I'm not a fan of the combine, man. I think because our guy Jay Higgins was one of the best linebackers in all of college football for the past 2 years. He has an iffy combine. Then all of a sudden, people are doubting him and his skill set. Like Will Campbell's a good example too, where he's dominating all season at LSU. That by far the best lineman and O-lineman in the draft. Then all of a sudden, GMs are questioning him because his hands are too small. But the film,
calm down, Will Levis.
Yes, it's okay.
Kenny Pickett? Sorry.
Yeah, you're looking at the combine numbers, and teams are hesitating off the combine numbers. But when you look at their game film and what they do in the game, they're dominant, and there's no question that they're dominant. And that's what Jay Higgins was saying, and that's what Will Campbell was saying too. I'm not a fan of the combine too much. But you just got to take the game film, and that's what Jay Higgins, for those who don't know, our linebacker, one of the best linebackers in Iowa history, another development guy that was a 3-star, was saying, he's just, you got to, if you want to evaluate me, turn on my film. Now he's went undrafted, to a contender in the Ravens. I guarantee you he'll be playing in 2 to 3 years, and he's going to be a stud. And where everyone's going to ask how nobody drafted him.
And think about it the opposite way. You have Anthony Richardson, who flew up draft boards, but his film was terrible, but he just was breaking every record in athleticism, as if that completely negated the fact that he only started 9 games at Florida and had a 50-some completion percentage. And then
Darius
like
Hayward, he ran a 4.3 or whatever.
Al Pitts, he hasn't panned out, but he broke records and all that, So yeah, it works sometimes, but it's not enough to really trust that the film tells everything. And that's what most people will tell you. That's why I don't know why people fall into these traps.
Who is Nebraska sent to the NFL in the past couple of years?
Well, we just got Ty Robinson in there.
Yep, he was drafted to the Eagles. He'll probably be playing alongside Jalen Carter over there.
Oh yeah, and then you got the Jurgens and Cam Jurgens. You got Cam Jurgens in 2020
from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's from Beatrice.
Yeah. He had one of the tougher roles in the NFL last year, succeeding the best center of all time.
Oh yeah, that was
Nebraska. When they signed him, he was a tight end. Actually.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
They converted him to center, and then he started as a redshirt freshman at like 270 pounds. And they would do things with him like he would snap it, and then he would pull and play tackle because our tackle play was so bad.
Yeah,
he was so good.
He's the Eagles is probably the only fan base that actually watches the center closely. So for him to go in there and be a Pro Bowler in his first year after succeeding again, Jason Kelce, the best center of all time.
Yeah,
kudos to him. I did not know he was a Nebraska guy, but kudos.
Yeah, and the thing about it is because they had to be able to still run that tush push, So like that center, getting that center position right was so key.
Okay, so you guys probably feel something about the tush push then. How do y'all feel about teams trying to ban it?
I don't. I think it's weak. I think if you just got to learn how to stop it, dude. They created a play that works. We all have the ability to run the same damn play. So,
yeah, I didn't like. So I'm a Bears fan. So it's just my great honor to
sorry to hear that.
Packers and say they were the first team to submit a proposal. It came out to ban the tush push. And I thought that was so weak. And I thought even the Bears voted to ban it. I think that is weak just because they voted it's a safety concern. How is a team that's running it consistently not worried about injuries, but it's the teams that are having to defend it worried about it?
Has anybody gotten hurt? Like,
no.
To be able to say it's I know Jason Kelce talked about like how it sucks being at the bottom of that, but you can't come out and say it's a safety concern with no data to support that.
Right. It's like if you just want to ban it just because you can't stop it, just say that. I'd rather you just say that than make up some 100%. BS excuse.
Because I know if the Texans came up with something that people couldn't stop and they tried to ban it, I would feel some type of way about it. And so I'm not changing that up just because it's a different team.
I thought it was hilarious how the Eagles immediately, like the second the news broke or the tush push was staying, they posted a 36-minute clip of tush push.
That's funny.
That is freaking hilarious.
That is top tier trolling.
Yeah, funny. That's elite.
Let me ask you a quick question. So, what is your opinion on the outside looking in? Do you think Nebraska is going to be much tougher this year to beat, or what is your feeling on Nebraska overall?
It's a great question because you guys are really a rival up there with Iowa State for us. I think I don't know if I paid too much to Nebraska football to be very knowledgeable to answer the question. But I expect y'all to be similar than last year. I still expect Iowa to beat y'all. I would hope we beat you guys.
Naturally so. I mean, I expect that.
Yeah, I would hope we do. And I will be at that game too. And I'll hop in the show after the first show after.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, we'll probably do a joint preview and post game if you want.
Oh, for sure, we could do that.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. But yeah, sure. I don't know. Either way, I think you just got to compare it to what their chances are at a national championship because that's the reason why everyone plays. I just don't see it happening whatsoever. But Iowa doesn't have the greatest chance either, so I can't talk up here like I'm an Ohio State guy. Those Ohio State guys can say whatever they want because they have the opportunity to repeat. Yeah. We haven't even been in the college football playoffs, so I can't really sit here and flaunt y'all for not being a contender when we probably won't be a serious one either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing about it is like I kind of expect that answer from, like I said, people on the outside looking in, because like a lot of the changes with Holgerson happened late in last season. I don't think a lot of people, realized how bad the offense was versus, and that's just kind of like of course, we focus on it. We know all the guys that we've got in the portal, this, that, and the third, and how everybody's talking about the program, stuff like that. So yeah, I pretty much expect people to kind of think about the same on how they expect Nebraska to be last year versus this year, because the way we ended last season, we did lose to Iowa, the poor offensive performance. We did beat Boston College, but that wasn't a team that gave a lot of people confidence. It was just like we made a bowl game, won a bowl game. Now I don't think people know where that next jump is. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I would. You guys are a wrestling school, I feel like, right now, and I feel like that's
Volleyball.
forward to.
Isn't it ironic how Nebraska kind of vaulted past Iowa in wrestling?
Yeah.
Where's Joseph at?
It's up there. You guys got You guys actually got I got a volleyball story too. You guys actually got what's his name? Oh my God. AJ Ferrari. I saw that.
The kid's a freaking beast.
Yeah. I will say
that's a legit national champion.
Yeah. I got a volleyball story and a wrestling story. So like I said, I'm a sports writer for the Daily Iowan, and that's one of the best collegiate newspapers in the country, by the way. Like actually statistically and everything. And the alumni we sent out to the real world to cover sports is insane. But they have the ability to they have the ability to bring us out to events. So that's about wrestling. For volleyball, my first year there, I covered volleyball. Nebraska kicked our ass twice. We went 0-20 in conference my first year, or my only year covering volleyball. So it was, actually awful. Oof. And then that was the year of 23-24, in the fall of 23. And then in March, I think it was March, or was it late February, I had the opportunity to go to Philly to cover nationals for wrestling. And I think I can't remember how many Huskers won national championship, but I think, or national champions y'all had, but I think y'all had 2 or 3. Y'all had a couple. You guys put up a good fight. I don't think any Nebraska guys beat Iowa guys, but you guys were a surprise program this year for sure. And to get AJ Ferrari, a guy that was really being booed the entire time. AJ Ferrari lost in the semifinals to Stephen Buchanan, who for Iowa, who won the national championship at 197. Now he's gone. He's graduated. But
how many
had a serious chance to win that with AJ Ferrari.
How many national championships do we win this year?
I think it's 3
or 4. 3 or 4.
No, it's 3. The most 3.
Oh, shoot. Brian, back up.
Yeah, I think it's 3. Well, I see this guy. Oh, he's gone. Probably
Nebraska beat Iowa in a duel.
Yeah, it's very likely. I think it just ramped up a lot getting AJ Ferrari. I think his brother I'm blanking on his name, but he goes to Iowa, Angelo Ferrari, and I think he's a 197er. Now with Stephen Buchanan gone and AJ not being there, I think he's going to step in. So I think there's a chance Angelo and AJ could face each other.
That'd be sick. That'd be crazy.
That would be sick. And big bro can't lose to little bro.
Hell no. Nah, it's like Jermel and Jamal Charles. Oh my God. You know the boxers.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the Charlos. I don't know why I can't talk right now, but because they're from Houston. But I always like them two. Like if they had ever fought each other or had to fight each other.
Are you a Houston native?
Yeah. So I'm a Rockets, Texans, Astros fan, and my dad's from Nebraska. Most of my family's from Nebraska. Still live there. I have like 6 uncles and an aunt, and then my dad, all from Nebraska. So yeah, we go up there every year for a game. I was born down in Texas because my dad moved down there after he met my mom. So
I see. You guys, I'm an NBA guy. You guys just signed Ime Udoka to an extension.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. I've lost as I used to be a diehard every game Rockets fan, but I feel like the NBA has gotten so boring to me because back in the day, scoring 20 points a game used to be that's all-star numbers.
Yeah,
and nowadays
Bulls scoring 17, it was all-star.
They've taken defense away completely, and just so they get more ratings because the high score, high flying stuff. They've in 1990 or no, it was 2004. They had the lowest average score per game in NBA history, and the ratings were also low. And that's when they started taking some of the defensive stuff away, because I think the league average was like 90 points, something like that, and that killed ratings. And once they found out that scoring equals ratings, they slowly started to peel back, and that's why guys like Steph Curry could survive in the modern NBA. And so, like, you have guys scoring 50, 60 points, multiple times a season now, like nobody's business.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, I missed that day where defense was priority. Now it's an offensive game. Even me, I've been an NBA fan for 10 years. That's how I actually got into watching sports and really, like, being into sports really heavily. Since I started watching at 10 years old. I'm 22 now. Like, I got the NBA
I used
finals.
to be a young buck. I'm talking about 2004.
Yeah, I know I'm young as hell, but my NBA knowledge, I know the game back to the 70s. I promise you that. But I think like even today, there's only certain teams that I watch, and there's only certain games that I watch in the NBA. It's hard for me to even watch. There's about 10 teams I'll actually watch, sit down and watch the whole time. Everyone else I can't watch.
That's we got the other Dave in here.
Yeah, two things. Chris, we're a rival, so I want to. What do you think of my T-shirt? I want to show it to you.
Make Iowa pay.
Can you guys read that?
Make Iowa pay.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That is it. We're gonna have to combat you with a Nebraska T-shirt. Next time I hop in here, I'm gonna have some Nebraska shirt on.
I bet.
And I gotta bring you in here so you can.
We welcome it. We love a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, we like the job. And Nebraska question, guys. CJ flipping to Florida, and then I gotta go tend to my kids, so I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah, and Chris, did you need to bounce? I want to be respectful of your time as well.
I don't need the bounce, but
Okay.
I mean, I've been here for.
Totally up to you. Oh, well, never mind. I was going to answer his question, but it was probably going to be a little long-winded because I talked about it earlier. But we'll wait to see if he pops back in. Nah, he it dropped him, so we'll see if he calls back in. But do you have any? Was he just dropping off to listen to our answer, Brian?
He didn't specify, but that'd be my guess. Kind of like your stereotypical radio caller. I'll hang up and listen.
All right, cool. So let me just kind of preface what I said earlier. I think everybody overreacts to every decommitment as if it's not something that happens. Every team loses highly sought after players. It's going to happen every season. It's happened in old recruiting now. It's happened in this recruiting. But again, I still think it's weird how people say, oh, I don't care about recruiting, but then a commit decommits and then the sky's falling. It's the same people that kind of juggle both. And my point on it was it's not because it doesn't hurt to lose a guy as good as him. It's because there's going to be a plan B. We're going to get somebody else in there, and you can't sit here and just be all emotional because a player decommits and then just be like, oh, like we're terrible and all this. Like it's just the emotional swings. And like, so when I tweeted what I tweeted about kind of just everybody calling down, the sky's not falling, that's what I meant. And people were like, don't downplay it and all this other stuff. It's not downplaying. It's just trying to be realistic and take emotion out of it. And that's where I see it. But we got Danny Odom in this weekend, so we got replacements.
Yeah. I'll reiterate what I said earlier. Your starting corners for Nebraska are Sire Wright, transfer from USC, Bly Hill, transfer, Jameer Khan, transfer, Andrew Marshall, transfer. Like, high school recruiting is not dead, but like you don't need to take these super loaded classes like USC, who has 30 commits, which is the most moronic thing they could have ever done. Because with rev share and actual submitting payments for NIL,
Scholarship,
they're not going to be able to afford that. They're going to have a bunch of guys hitting the portal in a year or two as a result. But like you said, backup plans. Okay, Florida State's commit four-star DB Tadarius Hughes was just in town. Flip target. And then obviously, like you already mentioned, 4-star top 250 Danny Odom's in town. 4-star top 250 Jackson is in town this weekend as well. Devin Jackson, and he's a teammate with Danny Odom.
I got is Pit Snipe living on Mars? How do you lose your Wi-Fi because your microwave's on, bro? Like, is he in some shack out in the wilderness? Some of the stuff he says on here, bro. He's like, my AC's out, so I got a fan on it.
I read that and I assumed that he just worded that wrong. There's no way that what he said is exactly how he meant to say that.
Oh yeah, and then I read this way too fast. I thought we were gonna have to call the police on other Dave because I read this way too fast at first. So glad you didn't end the kids, but
I will. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, yeah, you're good.
Okay, I was gonna say this about the recruiting. Actually, for those who don't know, Indiana's up 26-20 with 2:10 left in the first quarter for watching the finals. But that's
Okay.
just no. But I think we talked about this on our show. For those who don't know, who are a little newer, who haven't been here, Chris Meglio, Iowa, at the Voice of College Football. Show is Monday and Thursday, 6:00. Thursdays are a call-in show, so hop in and talk Nebraska with us. One thing we talk about is actually my partner Josh Helmer is really adamant about how Iowa should look more in the portal and get transfers rather than go after high school kids. I feel like with what I said earlier about us being able to get the lower ranked recruits and developing them into quality players, I feel like that takes away from it. I think if we get a new coach and a new brains to the operation, maybe they will go more into the portal and less into high school recruiting. But I think when it comes to decommitments from high school guys, it's not the biggest deal. What was this? You said the CJ guy decommitted. What was he ranked? What was his rank?
He was
Top
a 4-star, top 150. Yeah, defensive back.
It's a tough loss, but it's not a make or break to the season because it's not like you guys had him before. But Iowa doesn't get a ton of decommitments. Like the other day, we just lost Cash Herrera, who was a 3-star quarterback in the 2026 class. He just decommitted. You know what happens to every program, even the best of the best. You don't hear about it to Alabama so much at Ohio State, but they have decommitments too. They got players who transfer out because it's too stud of a program and they can't play.
For them, yeah, I think it's just they expect to reload that player, you know. But even then, the fans, still kind of freak out.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading other Dave's comment. I gotta read this on the screen.
The chat can get kind of wild.
Calling the show, Chris might build a wall to make it. Dave has a friendly rivalry job. Then my kids start screaming at tennis.
And wild. Oh, that's where he had to roll off too.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and then and I could tell Pit Snipe was out in the sticks because I'm from the sticks. But back when I was out in the sticks, we weren't even able to get internet out there. I'd dial up. I tried to play a game one time on the computer, and it wouldn't even pull up a window. So yeah, we didn't even have cell phone service. I didn't get a cell phone until I went in the military when I got out of high school. So yeah, I get it.
Service, man. What did you do in the military?
I was a master at arms, so I was military police in the Navy. So I was Greenside. I was attached to a Marine Corps battalion, and I was stationed over in Manama, Bahrain for 3 years. So I was never on a boat or anything like that. So
good for you. My brother Nathan, he tried to get in the Air Force for years. He had a bad knee issues, but he finally got in. It was a duck walk he couldn't do, so they denied him. But he got in. Went to Texas for basic training. Actually, I'm sure you know the base down there, the Air Force.
Lackland, yeah, because that's where my A school was for my actual job for the Navy. Yeah.
So he went down there, and then he lived in London the past year. On May 28th, he got deployed to Jordan for doing active work. So now he's loading bombs on planes. And a week after he gets there is when the war happened. So he was in a bunker for at least one day. Don't know about the other days, but he was stuck in a bunker because Jordan's right in front of where Iran is. For those who don't know, Iran's right here, Israel's right here, and Jordan is right in front of Israel. So missiles are flying over his base. He heard a bunch of bombs and everything.
Glad he's all right. Glad he made it out all right. That's
so I respect all service members. So thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Any other questions for us about Nebraska or Iowa, Big Ten, anything like that?
No, I feel like I took up a lot of y'all time, man. And
you're good, man. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to start watching this finals too. But yeah, feel free to hop in the Iowa show, man, and talk some Nebraska with us. You can hear my.
I definitely will.
Yeah, that's we gotta start promoting each other. So that's what I feel like we should start doing.
100%. Is Corey still with the channel or?
Yeah, Corey's with the main channel with Mark. So they're the main channel, then we're the secondary. But
gotcha.
Put up good numbers. I think we've been getting traffic. We've been in.
That Iowa channel has always been doing pretty good. Yeah, because Corey was running before. He did a really good job over there. So
we've done 12 shows so far. The first show we got a lot of viewers because people were confused. The second show, we went down to the 30s, and we kind of built up to where now we get consistent 70s and 80s, and a lot of people come in and talk. So it's good, but yeah, I mean that's what we gotta do though for channels like us. We're not the main channels, but we're getting there. So we gotta start boosting each other, get people familiar with us. So then
I took a break because I had one video where I got 23,000 views and like 500 something subscribers from one video. Like the momentum of the channel was going good. I took a little break because I was burnt out, and then brought Brian on. So we're rekindling it back in that algorithm. We got a really good group of people in the chat and regular viewers. So once the season rolls around, it'll get there.
Yes, sir. I'll be looking forward to any Nebraska Iowa game in any sport, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be calling in y'all show soon. So
for sure. Thursdays, 6 o'clock Central Time for those who want to hop in our call-in show. That's for anybody. That's even you guys want to hop in. Cool. So appreciate y'all for having me on. Thanks for having me on for a long time. And
absolutely.
I'll be checking back in sometime soon.
No, I appreciate you, man. Thanks,
Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah,
take care.
Bye. Yep.
Later. All right. See, we're friendly to other people. We're not mean. I'll pick people apart with numbers and facts if I have to. Let's see. Let's get into a couple of these and then we'll head off because we are at an hour and 10 minutes. So let's see. No worries. Siri on my Bose headset, screaming kids. Listen, yeah. All I got to worry about is dogs. Thank God. Scatterboo reminds me of Allstott. I think Scatterboo can do a little bit more than Allstott, but
I think I know why Scatterboo fell so far.
Is it
different than every other running back?
Yes, because it's. Are you talking about his limited style?
Yeah, he's just. Yeah. I mean, he had that one big catch in the Texas game, but
he's not going to be doing that in the NFL, and he's not going to be able to really go out and make passes in the NFL. Like, so he's going to be limited to that one thing.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy you give the ball to 10, 12 times a game.
Yeah,
unless you're going to just hammer him at 20 carries.
For sure. No, shout out to Chris for coming on, dude. That was a good conversation. Like the questions he had. No, you're good.
Yeah,
keep it on. Every time. We're listen. We're welcoming it. All right, bring it on. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and conclude the show here. Brian, do you have anything to tell the people that you got coming up? I think you do.
I do. Yes. Luke Sorenson's commitment is tomorrow. So if that pops for Nebraska, like we think it will, that video will drop. We'll have a visit preview tomorrow. And then there's 2 commitments on Monday. So if those pop for Nebraska, it's going to be a very busy next couple of days here on the channel.
For sure. And I'll try to get some film stuff out for y'all as well. And but other than that, we will see y'all in the next video. We'll see y'all on the Tuesday live stream, whichever one you show up for. And Brian, anything else? Are we good to go?
We're good to go.
All right. We'll see y'all later.